I just wanted to come on here and say I'm sorry. I voted for him, and I thought he was going to make things better for folks like us.
President Trump, if you see this, please save us. This is America. This is our land. Y'all about to have a panic attack. This is our country. Our country. This is awful. God, please save us.
Florida is now experiencing a complete collapse. Over the next 3 years, you will see housing prices on the East Coast and the West Coast and the south of Florida drop 30 to 40% over the next 3 years. It's that dire in Florida. And what's causing it all? People are moving out. People simply can't afford to live in Florida. And many people can't afford to fix their homes from the latest storms. It's only going to get worse. If you have property to sell in Florida, you better hurry. You better aggressively get it done. Because over the next 3 years, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. It's going to make the 2008 crash look like a picnic. So what is going on right now? You're seeing mass exodus of people leaving Florida in droves because it's simply not affordable. Insurance is too high. HOA is too high. Everything is too high. And even with the prices coming down, it's not going to matter. Nothing is going to save Florida at this point except for a 30 to 40% drop because it's just too expensive to live there. And the economics aren't there. Like and follow for more. We'll be talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, we voted for Trump because he promised while he was campaigning like a million times that when he got into office, he was going to bring down prices, bring down grocery prices. The inflation has been high ever since COVID, and he promised he would bring that down. But it's obvious to me now that that was not true. Egg prices have skyrocketed. The bird flu is killing all the birds, and he doesn't seem to be doing anything about that. He's stopping disease communications from the disease centers in America, pulled us out of the WHO. Like, how does that help anything? And yeah, all he's been doing is taking away rights and freedoms, or trying to. He's not doing anything about the economy. So yeah, we totally regret our vote at this point. We've had a really tough time here in North Carolina. Half of my house got washed away in Hurricane Helene, and I applied for FEMA assistance and we got approved. But now Trump is canceling FEMA and emergency assistance to people. He's also canceled Medicaid for my children. I know they said they put a halt on his freezing of the funds, but the Medicaid portal is still not working, so we can't access anything for our children's health insurance.
Florida beaches are empty because racism don't pay the bills. Now, those beaches and businesses are empty in Florida, and the business owners are scratching their head. They're like, I don't understand what's happening and why this is going on. This is what happens when you build your entire platform on bigotry and fear. When you spend years attacking immigrants, the very people who visit your state, spend money in your hotels, eat at your restaurants, buy your tacky ass beach tiles. Don't act shocked when they stop showing up. And understand, it's not just tourists who aren't coming to Florida. When you squeeze the working class like a lemon, there is no juice left for joy. You think people got beach money right now? People can't even afford to go outside. And all those Trump tariffs, those weren't on corporations. Those were Trump taxes on us. Prices went up, jobs got cut, and now folks are choosing between groceries and gas, not plane tickets to Clearwater. And y'all made Florida a hostile environment, honestly, and not just for immigrants.
Hello family, welcome back to this channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so as we venture and watch the following videos. All credits goes to the original content creators of the videos, and we're just technically talking about did everyone who voted for the current president Donald Trump knew the consequences or the hardship that will come with it. We are not making this video to push anyone or no bad blood or pressure anyone or laugh at someone, but we're just making this video to create awareness that people who voted blindly for the president are the first one in the front line crying about the hardship, the house levy increasement, the economic hardship in general. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly support a girl by subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate. Let me know your honest opinion about this topic. Watch till the end and comment down there below what you think about this situation, because guys, life is hard and economy is bad, and this is sending most of the USA supporters of Donald Trump, Donald Trump, into depression, stress, and mental torture, because they thought it will be the safe way out, and right now they're crying out loudly, they're forgotten, and they're suffering like most people who saw this coming. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Watch till the end and I'll come back with my honest 2 cents.
Where is Maga when you need them? Nowhere to be found. Maga, look, here's a Florida farm that needs employees. You said you wanted your jobs back. Look at all these jobs. You see all these trucks that's parked over here and all these crops. All these crops, vegetation, and fruits that's planted in Florida, which is a red state, by the way. Do you notice there's nobody on these fields? Take a very close look. No one is on these fields. You said you wanted your jobs back. Now you got your jobs back. Now get to work. Okay? And they'll say, well, what are you saying? People should just run around and be illegal in America? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the people who had their documentations and had a chance to get their self on the right side of the law, why didn't you give them a chance instead of chasing them down, dragging them out of schools, graduations, out of their homes? Why didn't you give them a chance so they could go through the system, get documented, and work in peace? That's all we're saying. Okay? Because I know a lot of you will get this twisted and try to twist stories and tell, well, you want to break the law. No, we want to do the right thing by people. We're human beings. That's it. A lot of these people had their documentations in the pipeline to become legal so they can work in the United States. But you made sure that you sent ICE to take it away. So here's your job. Go knock yourselves out. Okay? And don't think you're going to get a pay increase from these farmers either. You still get the same pay, no matter what. You understand? Now, peace.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. I have a construction company, and not a fucking thing is getting done. This is what I get. This is what I fucking get. Nothing but white boys. It takes 4 days to do a one-day job. I might have fucked up.
And as president, I will work with Congress to create, at long last, a pathway to citizenship for hardworking immigrants who have been here for years.
Get them legal status somehow.
Now, before we get going, this gentleman here is in the construction business in Florida. He goes by the name of Honest Hammer on TikTok, so I will just refer to him as Hammer. But he made this video in response to what he himself is witnessing on the construction sites that he's a part of in regards to the undocumented immigrants who are working on those construction sites with him. Let's hear what he has to say.
I've seen a lot of the videos, and it seems like a lot of people are just yelling and they're mad. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't understand it either. It's not what I voted for.
But this is what you voted for. You may not have been aware of what you were voting for, but this is what you voted for. If you look back at the first Trump administration, he had every immigrant that was here under TPS, the temporary protective status, at risk for deportation. He had the whole TPS program at risk. But that's on you to either remember or go look and seek out yourself the past actions of this president. Because if you're only watching right-wing media, no one over there is going to tell you anything about that. That's why it's so important that we break out of our echo chambers.
I voted for the criminals to be removed, 100%. But there are a lot of hardworking immigrants in this country that are building this country. Going back to when I started building the Hard Rock, 85% probably immigrants, all hardworking people providing for their families. Talk to them, get to see their kids on their phones, hear them all interact, have great days, loving what they do.
Because they're people. They're people. And if we're stuck in our echo chambers, the right-wing echo chamber has made you believe that they're criminals.
I've got a solution. The solution, President Trump, is to not deport these gentlemen right away, these hardworking gentlemen and women that have been removed from these job sites. Get them legal status somehow, under a work visa, background check them, do whatever you need to do to make sure they're not criminals, but let's get them legalized.
Hammer, we had a chance to do that. We actually had many chances to do that. One chance we had was in the run-up to the election in 2024. There was a bill ready for a vote, a bipartisan bill. It would have provided massive amounts of funds for new technology to have at the border, for new enforcement officers to be hired, for new immigration judges to be appointed, and the courts expanded to process asylum claims faster. Donald Trump torpedoed that bill because he was more interested in having the issue to run on than the problem solved. But that wasn't our only chance. We had a couple more chances too.
Oh, Florida. You in danger, girl. First off, I am from Florida. I grew up there. I went to UCF. I love Disney World. And I also escaped as quickly as I possibly could. If you have been wondering which states are going to get hit the hardest by these healthcare cuts, you guessed it, Florida is at the top of the list. Home of Governor Rambo, where you have 2 Republican senators and 20 of your 28 House of Representatives are Republicans. You effed around and now you are going to find out. Let's jump into the data. You know the one thing that Florida ranks last in this country? They rank last in the number of residents who are on employer-funded healthcare at 40%. You might be inclined to argue with me and say, well, that's probably because there is one single head of household who is on employer-funded healthcare coverage, and the rest of their family is also on that healthcare coverage. No, the data does not agree with you. An estimated 4.7 million Floridians are on ACA Obamacare Marketplace insurance, representing 27% of the under 65 population. The national average is 8.8%. Was ACA perfect? No, there's not a single educated American who would say that it was perfect. Was it better than your premium skyrocketing? Yeah, I think so. Let's zoom in and look at Holmes County, Florida, just south of the border of Alabama, where in the 2024 general election, they voted for Donald Trump with 89.9% of their vote. You aggressively voted for this, Holmes County, Florida. In 2024, for individuals, the average cost of ACA Advantage Silver Premium Insurance for Holmes County, Florida, earning less than $35,000 per year was $312 per month. With the ACA subsidies in place and factoring in healthcare inflation, that number was anticipated to rise to $349 per month in 2026, an increase of around 11% in costs. But you voted for these subsidies to go away, and now your cost is $680 per month. That is an increase of 118%. It turns out that racism is very expensive.
People are fucking leaving. Like, we're all leaving. Rachel and I are leaving. Like, we can't fucking...
Ron DeSantis and his hate-filled agenda, which of course is also being pushed by the Republicans in the Florida State House. They have solid control of this state and have for many decades now. But this agenda of hate is costing the state economy here in Florida billions of dollars already. Here's what's happening. Two conventions that were supposed to bring in literally thousands and thousands and thousands of tourists to the state of Florida have canceled. There was a women's technological leadership conference that was supposed to bring in 16,000 people due to Florida's mainly the 6-week abortion ban, but also they mentioned every other hate-filled piece of legislation that DeSantis has signed, so they've pulled out. A nurses' convention has pulled out of this state, robbing us of thousands of people, spending probably thousands of dollars. And of course, we cannot forget the fact that Disney shut down a multi-billion-dollar planned project that would have brought a couple thousand high-paying jobs to the state of Florida. So we're being robbed of future economic activity.
Please watch his entire video. It shows you just the frustration of so many people in Florida, and how so many people in Florida, it's not reported in the news, it's not really talked about, but there are thousands and thousands of people preparing and getting ready to leave because Florida has just gotten ridiculously expensive, and it's number one. Yeah, Florida's number one in inflation in the country. That's right. Florida is number one in inflation. So here's a guy explaining how much it used to just cost to rent a small place, and it's more than doubled. And going to the grocery store is ridiculous. But just living all around Florida when you're number one in inflation, it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. And I have so many friends that live down in Florida, and many of them are just like, it's just too much. It's just gotten to be too much. We've had enough. We're moving out. So expect over the next couple of years a huge migration out of Florida. Yeah, you may still get some of the rich folk going down there, but the average Joe, no, the average Joe's leaving.
They have to say they voted for hatred. They voted to show that they are winning, they are in power, but right now it is the opposite. They are crying out. So guys, the reports of the economic hardships among Donald Trump supporters in Florida who are experiencing and regretting towards their decision because maybe they didn't do the search well, they didn't do the research well, they didn't think twice. It's safe to say that. So they are the first one who are crying out and regarding their vote due to the real world consequences of policies they once championed. And guys, this we get to see how the videos you have watched, they have several key areas of concern. And guys, sometimes it's good to evaluate and reevaluate your decision before making decisions, because when the majority is no longer the matter of majority and minority, because they are also paying the price of their cross. They are paying the price of the decision. So starting with what we have watched and what we have gotten from the video is they are crying because the housing and cost of living is terribly high or terribly affecting them. So looming economic crisis in Florida. It's shown predicting a significant drop in housing prices as residents move out due to high cost, unaffordable insurance, and high HOA fees. So guys, the economy is not economing, and apparently most people are choosing to go back on the streets because it's safe. It's not safe, yes, but on the streets they are not paying anything. In these houses, you see most people even living in their cars, most people living in trucks. And guys, it's because they cannot afford this housing. The mortgages are high. What comes with the mortgages, the insurances, the fees that comes side by side with the mortgages are really, really high. And they're sending people into depression because they can no longer even afford a roof over their head. And whenever they remember that, they thought that voting in Donald Trump was a better choice. They thought maybe they'll be given free housing or something. Now they are regretting they made a terrible decision. That's what I want to say. So immigration and labor shortages. We see how the construction business owner who expresses frustration over the departure of migrant workers due to stricter immigration enforcement and deportation. And guys, a while ago we saw videos going online, terrible people, like terrible ICE police, I would call them ICE, mishandling these immigrants, and the only people, especially the black people of color, there were people who were rendering and offering these services, like with their all best day. Now the construction sites are empty and people are not going to choose that type of work, because this manual labor was really, really good with people of color. They were good at it and they were rendering their all. But with this Donald Trump issue of deportation and ICE going on, has forced these people to remain in a desperate situation because nobody is going to work for them. And now the policies have led to labor shortages and directly impacting construction projects and agricultural productivity. So when it comes to healthcare and policy impacts, there has been a potential loss of ACA, Affordable Care Acts, subsidies, noting many Floridians rely on these programs, and which has been has been scrubbed out, and this is causing a lot of harm to most Florida residents. So we get to see the removal of such support can cause monthly insurance premiums to skyrocket for working class families. Yeah, because if there's no such subsidies like ACA, then people have to go back to their they have to go back to their they have to go back to what their pockets to add to the insurances for, so that they can get the medical care they deserve. So this has led to working class people taking home, after the taxes and everything, taking home some little pocket change, which is not good for when it comes to saving and future plans for people. Tourism and economic stability also has been affected, and we see how legislation and hostile political climate have caused major conventions and business investments to be withdrawn from Florida, and potentially robbing the states of billions in economic activity. So when people are crying out on the internet, which things skyrocket and goes viral, we get to find out that this affects tourism and economic stability, because most tourists will not choose to visit Florida. They will choose to visit these other countries or these other states of USA or other countries over Florida, and that has impacted loss of millions and billions for these people. So as we come to the end of this video, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe and let me know wherever you're watching me from. Let me know what you think about this whole situation, and what do you think people should do to salvage this depression state. So this we have to see how politics often involves complex trade-offs, and we argue that the voters should look beyond campaign rhetoric to understand the actual consequences of policies. So the message, or the central message that we are trying to pass out or pass across, is a call for voters to hold elected official accountable regardless of their political affiliation, and to move past blind loyalty. You know, sometimes people will just be like, this is my leader, I will vote for them, but they don't know the long-term consequences that comes with that choice they are making. That's what we call blind loyalty. So we ask How about how policies impact daily life and broader community? So people should be able to ask themselves such questions. So guys, thank you for watching till this end. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so. I would honestly appreciate. And you can feel free to watch more videos on my channel and catch me on the next video. God bless.